It's Show Us Your Tips. Daggy Beaver back in the flesh with you for a Saturday preview. We've picked what a weekend to get back together, eh? Just when the spring carnival's over. But some winners to be had. How are you travelling, mate?
Mates, travelling well. Good to see you.
Yeah, it is.
In the flesh.
Yeah.
You're looking fit.
Thanks, mate.
No
All
problem.
that hard work.
Yeah, it's good. Back at it and onto some lesser race meetings, but a few in here that I like and a few races that are probably a little bit ordinary, but we'll see if we can find some winners.
I think Kembla's probably the better betting card, but
yeah, I agree.
We'll get to Cranbourne later. Let's get stuck into it. Of course, check out progretracing.com.au if anything going on there. We'll get those plugs out of the way first. Subscribe if you're listening to us on Spotify. You can find us at Show Us Your Tips on Spotify. Search for that. And, of course, Progret Racing on YouTube. Leave some feedback. Big shout out to Danon, who spent 20 minutes watching our Friday night preview from 3 weeks ago before he realised he was watching the wrong week. So, good job, Danon.
Did he back any winners from it?
I hope so. I killed him a bad night out. Last time we were at Canterbury. But anyway, let's get to Kembla, where it's raining. So the rail is in the true, and we've got some rain around at the moment. It's soft 6. Hopefully it stays there, but a little bit scared it might get worse, which probably pushes them out wide. Tends to be the pattern at Kembla more often than not. Kick off with a 2,000 metre benchmark, 78, and you can open the batting.
Thank you, mate. Don't mind opening the stick here, and going to go with the last start winner in Lyrical Gangster here from the Warra stable. Just hard to go past the Warra horses when they're around about these 2,000 metres plus, particularly after a nice last start win. He produces a lot of winners from this in sort of these types of provincial events, and even up in Brizzy does the same thing. Nice win last start. Finished off quite nicely. It's got Schiller on board, only got the 52.5. Won at Randwick, beat Yet He Moves, and hit the line nicely. And that was coming off a couple of other races where similarly had worked home well. I think the 2000's ideal. It's going to be the hardest to beat here.
I've just gone with the Saturday horse in Touristic, third up. And I'm a bit uncomfortable because I found a lot of Snowden runners throughout the card. Yeah, I don't really like back in the stable. But now third up, Chased Rise to It, who I know got beat last time, but ran okay.
Yeah, it did.
And is the Saturday horse, has to carry the weight in on the rain-affected track. I think the only other danger is Lyrical Gangster. And as you said, Waller would think they've come from Wednesday and got into this race with an inside gate on the minimum limit, and they would think it's game on. So
yeah, that's why I went the other way. The 9 kilo pull, albeit Touristic does have good form in the soft conditions.
Yeah. And it's just Waller's pattern. He loves inside gates when they think they've sort of beaten the weights here. So it'll definitely put in a forward showing. I couldn't find any other dangers. Absolute last hope, if you had to find a third pick, would be Lady Redwood, at least if it turns up on a 3-day backup coming home. Might be a last run before she's off to the breeding barn, to be honest. But soldier on there. The second is a 1,400 metre Class 3 highway. And this looked pretty straightforward to me.
Me too.
Why would you go past Nash and Dunn on a proper horse? This is actually, at least a Queensland City class horse, and has run well in metro stuff in Sydney. Resumed with a win, comes here and meets a field of with no real highway form. This is all from extra out wide, so I couldn't find any dangers.
No, I second that. It was a good win first here.
Yeah.
Up. It won down the middle of the track, coming from near last on the turn, and not many horses did that all day. They all won sort of inside and got the better run at
and this is a weaker
day.
race.
That was Derby Day, I think, in Melbourne. This is a weaker race. It does go up a little bit in weight, but I'm pretty keen it can win, and 250 is a good price.
Beautiful. The third is a 1,200 metre benchmark, 78 for the boys. Who do you like in this one?
Does Contemporary come here?
Good question. It has, I hope so, because I want to be against if it's here. I'm scared if it's in the last race, put it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Interesting. I'm going Plundering.
Mm-hmm.
Second up here, I thought first up was pretty good. Finished fourth behind Gustissimo, carrying the 59. I think this track suits the soft conditions. It goes good with the sting out of the ground. It's 4 starts, 2 wins and 2 placings, and 1 from 1 on the heavy. I think the slow conditions suit. I think it can come down the middle of the track here, and I think it's hard to beat at the 650.
I'm with the two that fought out if Contemporary's here, and I hope it is, I'm against it, because going from Nash to Zach Lloyd, And I think the other two that fought out the finish can fight it out again. With Your Blessing was in front of it, and Plundering did go past it, but I think it might have been a bit flat that day. With Your Blessing, now third up, Go Time. Plundering was good. You have to cop Chad Schofield, but that's fine. And if I was going to name a danger, I think Cheerful Legends over the odds. Forgive the last couple, and has gone away, had a trial since. Is $18. I think runs well here. Yeah, that's about it for the race for me. Sort of really keen to take on Contemporary, which could have egg on the face, but we'll see how we go. The girls' equivalent is up next. Another benchmark, 78, 1,200 metres. And I struggled with this race, and I ended up just deciding that at least Shadows of Love is coming off a win, and an impressive enough win, and his double figures. I was a little bit surprised at the price, actually. But I couldn't find heaps away from it, apart from the fact I thought I might go and spec tiny bets on the top two shorts who tried really well, gets a claim, and Per Inaway, who did some okay stuff last prep, and was some forgives in there, and comes back here, and it is a price. I just didn't really, things like Rocketeer Girl and that coming from Canterbury, I couldn't get excited about much else. What did you think?
Yeah, it wasn't the most exciting race on the card. I've gone for shorts. As you said, thought it trialled well enough, loves the sting out of the ground, and goes well first up. 3 from 5 first up, 2 from 2 on soft. That lines up well for here. Has run a placing in a Group 3 before. Raced in better company than this, raced in listed races, etc. Gets the 3 kilo claim, and I've got it hard to beat. Going to forgive Shohei first up run, and going to give it another chance here as a saver bet, but going with the one on top.
Yes, I wanted to forgive Shohei, but it was a bit plain, and I'm not sure what's changed there. The fifth is a benchmark 72 midway, 1,400 metres, big field, and I am going to go with Bernie Need on top. A bit like finding these Snowden runners. Finding Zach Lloyd at the moment doesn't particularly thrill me too much, but comes back to its home track. That was a really good run in the 4 pillars where it was wide and fought out the finish, and we're getting an each-way price here. I think has to run well. From O to V, resumed to the win, is a nice enough horse, and Herb is the last start track and distance winner. Who'd you find?
I found the same as you, Burning Need. Being not too bad this preparation, as you highlighted. Ran third in a big field last start, and was drawn sort of out a bit wide, so did have to do a little bit of work. Finished that off nicely after coming off a nice win. This is a smaller field, gets drawn well enough here, and I think it can figure in the finish, and 550 and better the place is worth a punt.
Cool. The 6 is a benchmark 88 over the mile with Lock Eagle bouncing off the big win. Is that the way you've gone?
I have gone that way if it's here and doesn't get a start in the Gong.
It's emergency in the Gong, isn't it?
Yeah. But could get a start now with a bit of rain around and the likes. I think it'll be winning this if it gets a run. Gate 9's perfect. Does have the 60 kgs, but it was pretty impressive last start. Showed that it's a horse of some quality, so I've got it on top. Main danger. Tazaral goes well. Good little horse. Not sure so much on the soft conditions, so that's probably a little bit of a question mark, but that's the way I'm going here. Lock Eagle if it runs here.
I think if Lock Eagle's here, it'll win. When they chime in, run through the line, and run away from a field like that, you just stick with them, and that's what I'm doing, as has Nash, which is always a good thing. On top for me, and I'm going to make the danger substantial. That was just given none down south. Was dragged out the back, ran home well enough. Coming here, if it's ever going to run well, I think Kembla's going to suit it. We'll make that the danger from deficit, who's earned pretty well as well. The quaddy starts with the Gong, which is, what is it, $1 million race this year? $1 million race over the mile. And I really wanted to take on a Sepenko, and I couldn't necessarily really pen it. It was my final decision. That said, I think there's some chaff in this race. For the sake of where I'm headed, I think the $10 round Cepheus is going to be my comfy spot again. I'm going to stick with it. Found another inside gate. You can get $10 and about $10 and $3 a place. I'm going to play that each way. If we get slightly better Osipenko, it'll probably win this. Waller tends to get a win out of all his horses set up here, but yeah, it does have a few stablemates to drag him around. Is a danger, next best Detonator Jack, who has been running really well without winning. I think that's about the race. I couldn't find a lot outside them, could you?
No, I've gone for Detonator Jack on top.
Yeah, I can understand
I think it has been going well in better class races. Again, I think the track conditions will suit. Gate 9's perfect, sting out of the ground. 1600, I think this race sets up well here, and if it's going to win half a decent race, this preparation, this is it. I think it sets up nice. I didn't pen Osipenko either, but I do think 330 skinny, but it is back in class. Just at the odds, I thought New Mandate at the 20s, I'd probably have a little bit on it. It's a good win, wound up nicely last start, so I thought that was a good win. And if Lock Eagle starts here, I won't be letting it get under my guard. Gate 16 doesn't enthrall me, but I'll have something on it anyway. But Detonator Jack on top and a couple of plays at around the 20s.
If it does get real heavy, Jason Collett's just about as good a wet track jockey as you'll get in Sydney as well. So that's another tick for you. The 8th is the Warra, the sprint race on the card, 1,000 metres, $300,000 race. Good field. Who's going to win it? Is the question.
Good field. I've narrowed it down to 2. I've got Dragonstone on top.
Yeah.
First up here, I think it presents really nicely. It's a very consistent horse. Doesn't win out a turn, but it's never far away. It's finished in the placings 20 out of its 26 starts, albeit 16 of those minor placings. Goes well on the soft conditions. Trialled well enough for this. Wound up. This looks like a bit of a target. I've got it on top, drawn well. And the main danger, hard to say. Just keeps winning. And it was a good win. It was another good win last start after going up to Brizzy. Just seems to have found its groove here. Gate 12, I would have liked to see it probably drawn in at sort of 8 or less, but I'm not going to rule it out at the 12s. Dragonstone on top, hard to say.
Yeah, I've come up with a couple of chances here, but Dragonstone, the fact it's been saved for the last probably month for this race, it looks like now, sets up well, gets through the wetter right, and gets Tim Clark, who to me is a tick on this card. From Brudenell, I was a bit shocked it was favourite. It's a horse I've liked coming through the grades, but I don't think it necessarily should be favourite in a race like this. And the next two, when we get to quaddies, will be Insurrection, who had to sit 3 wide last time out. Again, Zach Lloyd goes on, so there's that. And Old Boy 11-11 at the top there is 4 from 4 at the track, and may be a run early, but is on the way to winning more money up at the Magic Millions, I assume. So will be 4, generally produces its prep this time of year. But having named 5 horses, I agree. Dragonstone from Brudenell is the final take on that. The 9th is the 1,000 metres here. And another one I was a little bit shocked at the price. And just at the price, I'm put Squad on top. I thought it would come up close to favourite. But trial comes through some decent stuff down south. Trial was good. Comes here and it's $10. Goes on top. That all being said, when I started the form, I was going to declare Emperor. So I just feel like it's a little bit short now coming to 78 grade, but it came back gelded, one with 2 legs in the air, gets Nash, probably pisses in, but just again looking more for an each-way price. The only other one that I'll put in the quad will be Headwall, who's a nice horse in this grade that's trialled well.
Yep. Emperor for me, I was waiting for when this horse would start again, and I'll be on. That was a good win first up. It had to switch back and then just went bang. Gate 10's perfect here. I've got it on top, clear on top for me, and that's the only way I want to play. Cool.
And I understand. I could see there seems to be a groundswell for it too, so I can see it starting real short. The 10th is a benchmark 78 1,400 metres. How are we finishing the day?
Yeah, good race to finish the day here. I've got Contemporary if it starts here.
Okay.
I think it can run well in this race. I think this one sets up nicely for it. So I had it on top. Main danger was Crafty Eagle resuming here. Again, it goes well first up and on the softer conditions. Has shown enough. Last campaign, finished second in the Grafton Guineas, which was a really nice run in a quality race over the 1600. So should be primed up for this. And Gate 3 is a perfect draw. So they'd be 2 I'd be playing.
I have gone with Crafty Eagle on top. I'm a bit concerned, but to be honest, the draw was a bit of concern this time of the day on a wet Kembla from 3, but flies fresh, found the line really well on a trial, gets a lovely run. It's on top from I'm a Shelby, who I'm sort of attached to, and at 20s I will stick with. Was a good run last time out. Gets running line here late day Kembla. I can see 4 for Cindy running well. The Sacred Falls mare pulling out the middle of that track and steaming home. And next best, no, that's about it. We'll throw the rest when we get to the quaddie. I do agree that Contemporary is much scarier here than in another race to me. So for the sake of the quaddie, I'm going to go with number 1, Cepheus. Number 3, Osipenko. Number 9, Detonated Jack. And agree if Lock Eagle's here, it can go in. We'll go wider in next. I'm going to throw in 1, 11, 11. 6 Dragonstone, 8 Insurrection, 9 Hard to Say, 12 Brudenell. Have I missed something obvious there? Not really. Third leg with 3 Emperor, 5 Headwall, and 9 Squad. And we'll come home with 2 I'm a Shelby, 4 Crafty Eagle, 8 Dream Hour, 11 4 for Cindy, and 17 Contemporary should it be here. Your best and value for progroupracing.com.au as the mower kicks off in the background.
Yeah, best bet, race 9, number 3, Emperor. My clear on top pick there, and my value bet, race 3, number 6, Plundering.
Yeah, well, let's make it a Nash double. Race 2, number 2, Tribeca Star. Don't think I've ever declared one in a highway before as my best, but we'll stick with that. And race 7, number 1, we'll go with the great man on Cepheus to be the value on the card as well. We've got to head down to the Hawkesbury of the South, Cranbourne, to cop this meeting here. It's everything goes a bit weird when we get to these provincial meetings. We've got a wet track, currently a good 4. There's rain coming, but listening to some reports today, they don't think it's getting too much worse than 5. I had treated it as a bit wetter than that. I'm also a bit nervous about it being on pace. So let's watch and see how that plays out. Any thoughts on how you've attacked this meeting?
Yeah, pretty similar to you in that sense. I think you might be still able to sort of midfield to on pace. I think's okay. You don't want to get too far back.
And let's kick off with the 3-year-olds. 2025 metre Cranbourne Classic. Has any got you excited here?
I'm sticking with the favourite, Warmonger. That was a good, hard-fought win last start. It had to do a lot of work, and it just kept coming on the line. And I think, it looks like a out-and-out stayer, so I think the extra 200 suits. So I got it on top, but certainly scared a little bit of the Sydney horse, unquestionably. Its runs have been pretty good. Ran in the Super Maiden, ran well there at odds, and then stepped out to the 1900 at Gosford and won that maiden status there. So now goes straight down to Melbourne. That's a good sign. Got Mickey D on board and has to give the favourite has to give it 6 kilos. So certainly a danger. I thought they'd be a bit tighter in the market. So $5 a good price.
Yeah, they were a bit tighter when I did the form anyway. But I've gone the same way. Don't have much to add. 2,000 metres it looks a tick for Warmonger. It looks a tick for Unquestionably too. And the only concern, I think it probably is a job to do from gate 10, but they've got Damien Lane on to work it out. And if it is wet, Unquestionably is probably a further tick because not a single doubt out of a Sebring mare is bred to swim, I would suggest. But I couldn't find much else out of those two. The second is the 1,200 metre 3-year-old race. And I just decided I don't want to beef braid meat here, coming back from 3 trips over 1,400 metres where it's led up. It comes back to a 1,200 metre race. Just feels a bit like it's stale now, so I was looking for fresh blood, and if we are wet, and I was probably hoping a little bit wetter, I'm with Peace Treaty. I thought that ploughed through the heavy down on debut. Looked very impressive. Trials this time in have been great, and it just feels like a horse that's in the right place at the right time that can be one that puts together a summer campaign. So around the $6 or $7 on top for me from Wigham, who won the key lead-up race, I would suggest, and was good there. And I think your horse, Jewel Bay, will improve back around to Ben. Got completely lost up the straight. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I've gone the same way, actually.
Cool.
I've gone for Peace Treaty as well. I like the Regima from the Freedman stable. I thought the trialled well at Werribee and then came out and franked that form quite comfortably. Walked in. It its first start at Ballarat. Then they put it out. That's a good sign for me, and comes back here and should be well schooled to run again.
The third is a 1,400 metre Rosemont Stud Pendant. Climbing Stars come out, so you're safe again, Beaver. Is this a complete and utter breathing moral?
Looks that way. I think it's clear on top pick here. Kazoo jumps to the front here and going to be hard to run down. So clear on top pick for me, and I found it hard to find anything else.
Yep, gets through the wet, controls this race, gets the best jockey. All systems go. It'll be fitter, and it just we're laid out first up, but I think that was just gassing out.
Yep.
Fighting off an okay horse. Not much to talk about here. I'll have a watch on one of my girls there, Prosemian Arch, resuming, but for further and something different, I would suggest. The fourth, we get into benchmark 70 land for the next chunk of this card. Starting with this 2,500 metre race, can anything get you excited?
Nothing can get me overly excited, but if forced to have a pick, I've gone for number 6, Hurricane. Thought it could run well. Won its last 2 starts in nice enough fashion. Just stepping up a little bit, went from the jumped from the 1,400 to 2,000 and won a maiden quite nicely. Won pretty comfortably there, and then went the extra 400 and stuck on quite nicely there. I think it seems like natural improvement. And I thought around 650 could run well.
I spent far too long on this shit race. King's Crossing is probably the best horse off a win, but it's 5 weeks between runs. That is my big concern, but it's on top from a comfy gate. You've covered off a Hurricane. If I was going to have a bet at all, to be honest, it might be a small bet on Dictionary or Ballinor, who keep improving and out to distance looks like it may suit. But yeah, not particularly fond of this one. Don't know if I'm particularly fond of the next either, which is a 1,000 metre benchmark 70. I've got no idea. I liked south of Houston heading into that race up the straight, off its trials, dropped out, ran last, and I'm going to tip it on top here. So that tells you what I think of this race. I think it can improve. It's better than that, but I don't really like it. Luna Cat will run okay, I guess. Hayes and D.
I didn't like the race either. I went for number 13, Pink Bow Tie.
Okay. Good.
It was going pretty good at sort of second, first, and then ran 6, only 2 lengths behind Ray Maginero at Flemington last start, which that horse has got a little bit of ability. So dropping back in grade here out of that that benchmark 80 at Flemington, back to 70 class here. It was going well, but prior to that, might give a side at close enough to $10.
1,300 metre benchmark 70 is up next. Isid Me has life for me, so can you tell me who's going to win?
I've gone for Zambogini. Thought it resumed quite nicely there. It was well backed, sat on the pace and did enough to win there. Gate 14s are probably a little bit of a worry, but I just couldn't get excited by too much else. And they sort of, you got the top 5, sort of $5 to $7, and then they're all, $15 plus. So, I mean, anything could win here. But I just thought fresh blood, won first up, natural improvement, hardest to beat.
I've ended up finding Bel Air third up, 2 nice tick-over trials since. Or I should say third up with a freshen, 2 trials along the way. Gets Damien Lane, who apparently I've tipped in the first 6 races. Nice enough run here. Will run well for Miss Middle Park, who kicked off in the listed race. This is a much better race for its second up. Doesn't get through the conditions, in fact. I think Maurice should, but anyway. Next best, I am really scared of Free World, who might be the best horse in this race, so looking forward to seeing it come back from the inside gate there. The 7th is the Leicester, 2,025 metres, and I have to stick with Holy Mount. Why is it won that race? I know Gregor Limo chose to lose the race, but it's 3 times the price. It was still strong. If you take Gregor Limo's effort out of that race, it was still strong through the line. Has Mickey Dion, is now hard fit, and it's $8.50, the screen I'm looking at here. I'm going to put it on top from Matron Bullwinkle, who crossed the line with Froxy Frida, who you did tip in that race, and that is, she's essentially a borderline Group 1 mare. I'm going to play around those 2, and I'm just going to say Gregor Limo. I want to see it actually put its head nose in front before I get too excited. I don't necessarily think Great Giant McNeil and Gate 1 are recipes for success for it.
Yeah, I feel like this market should be a lot closer than what it is.
I guess that's more my point.
Yeah, $3.50 to $8.50. I think they should almost all be sort of that $5 to $6 mark. For that reason, you make a good point for Holy Mans. I've actually gone for Matron Bullwinkle. Thought that was a good run last start. $6.50. Gets now to peak fitness, fourth in this campaign. And I would be saving on Fire Glow too. It's been ultra consistent of late and won't be far away. It just keeps bobbing up and in the mix. And so for that reason, I'm going to say it's going to be around the mark again in this race that looks fairly open.
Beautiful. The 1,000 metre Apache Cat Classic is up next. And who do you like?
I like Jigsaw.
I can't believe I say it a lot, but I could not believe the price.
Yeah, $7.50. It couldn't be beaten last campaign, and then it's resumed here in a Group 2.
It sat outside the best horse in the best sprinter in the world last start.
Yeah, so it's finished 5th at Flemington behind Star Patrol, less than 4 lengths, and then 7 lengths behind Imperatrix, but had to sit outside.
It sat outside it the whole way
Group
around.
1.
Yeah,
I mean, before
it's now going to be sitting next to Midwest and Alicia Roma.
It was kicking their brains in listed races and etc. So. I think it probably leads, and they're going to have to go well to go past it. So I had it on top. I thought $7.50. It's very good value on the day.
Better the day, Jigsaw. Easily better the day. Like I said, sat outside Imperatrice last start. Is now going to be sitting in between, or either lead or sit outside Alicia Roma and Midwest. So it's just different gravy. Jamie Mott will get the job done. Last time it won this race by 3 lengths last year.
Yep.
I think before that it won by 3 or 4 at this track. The only other time it's been to the track. Might have been knocked over when it was a colt back in the day. Easily on top. I went looking for like completely different angle if I was going to get it beaten. That would be like Twin Perfection or Jungle Gym first up maybe. But I think of the up and going brigade. How's this not going to beat them?
I don't know. That was my whole thinking.
Well, good. We're in agreement there. We'll get to the Cranbourne Cup next, which is the mile. And I think there's 2 hopes. I think the market's in order, and that's it. Foxy Cleopatra, who needed another stride to get home for me at 60s in Cup Week, but the market just forgot about it first up. This is a decent horse, and this is an average field. Clearly on top, I think Craig Williams will be more positive and get the job done here. And the other one that just missed for me in Cup Week, which is a familiar theme, is Euphoric. We'll tag along and be in the finish. The rest of these, we know what we get. I thought Hit a Shock was disappointing with the run it had last time out. So, yeah, that's it. 2 hopes for me.
2 hopes for me as well. I've just flipped them.
I've
gone for Euphoric. But a split hair in it. I just went for the 3rd up horse instead of the 2nd up horse. And the price I thought was just, that extra point better was ideal. And I think the 7 gate probably suits these 2 better than the 3. Just thought it had a few things going slightly more in its favour, and that was the split hair that got me to go for a Euphoric.
Beautiful. All right, and we'll wrap up the last, which is a Class 3, the Shooting Stars Plate, over 1,500 metres. How are we finishing off?
Yeah, finishing off here with the favourite, Jimmystar. I think this is a horse that's packed with plenty of potential here, and I think it gets the job done. Progressive type. I think a lot to like about this horse. Gate 11's fine, and this is an average field, clear on top.
A great ride now is to come from gate 11 now. I like the each way price around Tasman Park. It was all about home last time out. Wouldn't have seen Breach and Bullwinkle, who we tipped earlier, just swamp it late. I think it's a big price in what you said, an average field. Jimmystar, amazing ride, job to do. And a horse like Simeon can roll out in front and now hard fit 3rd up, maybe run in the trifectas for you at a price. For progretracing.com.au, I'm going to make my best on the card. I nearly wanted to make it Jigsaw, to be honest. But it will make Jigsaw of race 8, number 1. My best is race 3, number 4, Kazoo. I think it'll win. What about yourself?
Yeah, my best is race 10, number 5, Jimmystar. And my value is the same as yours. Race 8, number 1, Jigsaw.
Excellent.
For my quaddie?
Oh, yeah, do that.
Yeah. Quaddie, first leg, race 7, number 1, Gregor Limo. Number 3, Holy Mans. Number 6, Matron Bullwinkle. And number 9, Fire Glow 2. Second leg, I'm going to go number 1, Jigsaw. Number 2, Generation. Number 5, Jungle Gym. And number 9, Taunting. Leg 3, race 9. I'm going number 9, Foxy Cleopatra. Number 10, Euphoric. And I'm going to chuck in number 1, Pounding. And to finish off the day, I'm going race 10, which is leg 4, number 1, Tasman Park, number 5, Jimmystar, number 7, Jenny Pending, and number 10, Zuporing.
Beautiful. Just quickly, have I got anything from Adelaide? The map's heading back there after its winning Cup week. Race 5, number 1. What's happening in Queensland?
Yeah, I've got a few up in Queensland that I like. Tomorrow, they come up in race 5, number 3, Midnight in Tokyo. Race 6, number 4, Alberech. Race 7, number 1, Comrade Rosa. And then to finish off the day, race 10, number 17, Liquor.
Excellent. We've got the Group 1 Railway Stakes in Ascot as well. Have you had a look at that at all?
I haven't had a good look at the Railway Stakes, but I think I do like the Alsafina as a horse. I think it's a quality horse. And I think for Got You at $17, I wouldn't rule out. Got the car park 8, but...
That's right. Well, as you can see, I think it's a good price, $17, and Velvet Queen down the bottom at 26s. I think I have some each way on both of them in the Railway, but can't proclaim to be any sort of Ascot expert by any means. That's it. That's our look through 2 good cards of racing from this weekend. Check out progretracing.com.au for anything going on there. Thank you, Beaver.
No worries.
We will do it again on Tuesday and be back again next Friday. So, yeah, sign up, subscribe to all the good stuff, and we'll chat soon. See you guys.